Well, over 290,000 healthcare workers have already received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So let's find out how nursing union Denosa feels about the suspension. Sibongiseni Delihlazo is the spokesperson. He joins us now live. So, of course, we have 290,000, just over 290,000 healthcare workers already vaccinated. Have you reached out to your members? Are there concerns after the suspension of this vaccine rollout?
Well, not entirely. Remember, it just happened last night. But our members have expressed some mixed emotions. Of course, some were due to receive their vaccination, their vaccines today. And of course, it's no longer going to happen. Of course, even those who have taken it not long ago are quite anxious as to what will become of their health a couple of days from now. But I think this obviously calls on all of us as organizations to really explain, because this information is coming out there in real time, and it leads to a lot of confusion amongst healthcare workers in this case, because I think we need to emphasize, Shahan, that yes, 6 women have developed this, blood clotting, disorder in the US, but there's no evidence that suggests any causal linkage between the vaccine itself and the disorder. So it's a matter that is still under investigation. But of course, that South Africa has stopped temporarily is out of extra precaution. And I think that needs to be explained, because many may believe that the stoppage is because indeed those women who got the blood clotting disorder in the US is as a result of the vaccine, which needs to be explained. That is still under investigation. But of course, some are quite anxious. And our fear now is the uptake and the confidence levels towards the program itself, because we've been putting our shoulders behind it, because we believe it's the hope that healthcare workers could be protected. PPE has proven not to be quite enough to protect our healthcare workers. But I think this needs to be explained for all healthcare workers to ensure that they understand what's the reason behind pausing temporarily.
Yeah.
But of course, while we're pausing temporarily, Shahan, we need to really put our processes in place. It's particularly our monitoring processes to ensure that while we're waiting for evidence to come out of the US, we must not start afresh if something is to the effect that indeed the vaccine, there's a linkage between the vaccine and the disorder.
Yeah, and of course, I think many people will want to know why these particular women developed the blood clots, if they were a certain age group, a certain blood type, etc., before South Africa goes ahead and says we're not going to use it at all. But government, of course, is hoping to have some decision next week as to whether or not we continue with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine based on research from the US. Going forward, do you think that there's going to be any hesitation from your members, in particular with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine? Or are you going to say, maybe let's go with Pfizer until we get more clarity on Johnson & Johnson?
That's our fear, Shahan. Remember, we're not here for the first time. We are from AstraZeneca era, where it had to be stopped almost at the 11th hour. So our concern right now is the dwindling confidence levels towards the program. Obviously, this will mean that there will be a need to increase efforts to educate our citizens, and including healthcare workers in this case, to put them at ease, because many of them are not sure as to whether to take this or not. And even those who are due to take it today, I mean, if we're still going to proceed, I bet not too many of them would be willing to take it. And that is our most fear. And we are racing against the third wave, which is not far from now. And hopefully by the time it arrives, we have hoped that enough of our healthcare workers would have developed immunity. But of course, healthcare workers are not the main focus here. The second phase, I mean, you talk of the elderly, and those, of course, that it has been proven that they develop severity and need to be admitted in our facilities. That would mean extra work to healthcare workers. We hope that the speed at which this is done is not stopped. But of course, the stoppage, although we understand it, it means it prolongs the delays further, and it will take us many days more before we reach to these communities that we need to protect, particularly the elderly.
All right, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to leave it right there. Denosa spokesperson Sibongiseni Delihlazo.